first and only time I ever heard anybody do it was last summer in Milwaukee. I'm going to try it today, and it's not easy, like at all. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. Comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 9, Yankees 1 yesterday in Bradenton. O'Neal Cruz and Billy Cook with home runs. Ji-hwan Bae continuing a .455 spring so far with a couple of hits. Lots and lots of good work from the bullpen mainstays. And Paul Skenes pitched. See how I did that neat little trick? I mentioned him last, as if he's the least important. And of course, it's exactly the opposite. Over 4 innings, he was charged with 1 run on 4 hits. He struck out 5, walked 2, threw 74 pitches, 44 of those for strikes. And it's that last thing. I'm going to try this. I'm going to fail, okay? But I'm going to try anyway to critique something about Skenes. The first time that I was made aware of anybody attempting this was that night that I referenced in Milwaukee, and it was Yasmani Grandal. After Skenes had struck out like 1 billion Brewers, after he looked superhuman all evening long, and it was Grandal, a veteran, coming close to the end of his career, expiring contract, already accomplished an awful lot in baseball, nothing to lose, doesn't need to bow down to anybody in any clubhouse setting, and he felt comfortable and right in suggesting at that time that Skenes has another level, that Skenes can be, in his words, more efficient. He doesn't need to be messing around with all of his various additional pitches, and of course he's got 2 more of those this spring for a grand total of 6, and that he would in fact be more valuable to his team, but also within himself if he were able to get consistently into, and this was Grandal's assessment, the 7th inning. He shouldn't be a 6-inning guy. He should be 7+ with his stuff, with his makeup, and with his ability to be able to set down batters, not just on 3 pitches, but 1 or 2. That's got to become something that's grafted onto his game. Now, Skenes, in case you're wondering, and he and I have talked about this, took very well to everything he'd hear from Grandal. You know, all those occasions when you'll hear a manager or even a GM speak of the value of the older guys in the environment, and you'll roll your eyes and you're just thinking, oh, I care, the guy's hitting 210. Doesn't matter to me if he's flipping the food table after a hard loss. Well, this is one example of where there is a real impact. I don't know that anybody else in the Pirates world could do that. And that even includes coaches, his manager, because they see what you and I see. They see that he's getting it done, and he's more than getting it done. And he's a Cy Young finalist as a rookie. What are we going to tell him? You know, just make sure his uniform is clean and ready for the game. But Grandal had a different point of view. He had the only point of view that actually matters, because he's the one catching those pitches. He's the one feeling them, sometimes literally, when the fastball hits triple digits. He's the one who, on that same night, and this was what prompted me to ask Grandal the question, caught a slider that was well away from a right-handed batter. And while he didn't exactly show Skenes up, he had this body language about him with the way he got up from the crouch, paused for a second, maybe tilted his head a little, presuming that was intentional, and then threw the ball back to Skenes. And I thought to myself as that happened, is I got a little lucky. The press box at American Family Field is right behind where that pitch came in. And to me, it felt like a waste pitch. Well, to Grandal, it apparently felt the same way, and he wasn't in the mood, and he let his pitcher know it. And what do you know? The pitcher came right back with 2 blazing fastballs to record the out. This really isn't, and I promised you that it wouldn't be, a critique what this is a reminder that he's not complete. He's far from complete. You can wonder, well, how much better can you get? Cy Young finalist. I mean, who gets to do that even once in their career, let alone strive for some superior level? But listen to Skenes talking to reporters in Bradenton last night about the process that he takes into a spring start.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. That's super important. I think everybody has their own goals going into each outing, whether it's, getting outs or controlling the running game or, whatever it is. So I was happy with what we accomplished today. I think we accomplished our goals. Just got to, keep going. Got a couple more outings to fine tune everything before the real stuff starts.
That, my friends, isn't a starting pitcher about to embark on his first full big league season. That's A.J. Burnett when he got older, okay? That's a guy who's been around, who's learned it all, done it all, and at the same time doesn't accept that he's done yet, while at the same time carrying himself with such command, with such poise. What a lousy critique this has been, huh? When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Fran Streitman, who says, "Hi, DK. Who's winning the second string catcher's battle? Is it Henry Davis or Endy Rodriguez?" It seems that Endy's been getting more play recently. Well, if you're going to look at stats or even participation numbers, Fran, I would start off with the fact that, and I do mean fact, that they're pretty much even in at-bats and plate appearances. They're 2 apart, so there's not much there. Performance-wise, Endy's batting .368, the home run and 4 RBIs. Henry's batting .286 with a home run. And Jason DeLay, who is legitimately the other individual who's standing in line behind Joey Bart, as they all are. DeLay's hitting a .140, which he usually does, but then DeLay's not there for that purpose. He's there to be a defensive catcher. And if there's one trait that we've seen from Ben Cherington that's been consistent from day bleeping one of his tenure, it's that he will take a catcher who can't hit to save his life if he sees that catcher as adding value behind the plate. So the best answer that I'm comfortable giving you here, Fran, is really wishy-washy. I don't know that anybody's ahead. I also don't know that there's really a competition. As I've shared with you many times, because I've been told this many times by real live baseball people, they know who's making the team. There are almost no surprises, no actual competitions in a spring setting as far as the upper levels of management are concerned. Other than injuries, of course. They know who they expect will be their 26 on opening day. And if there's anything that's left to some sort of decision based on what they see in Grapefruit League games, it won't be statistical. It'll be more about how hard is he throwing? How does he handle, let's say if he's a relief pitcher, performing in back-to-back settings? Can they keep up the heat in the second of a back-to-back usage? Do you follow me? You're going to see a lot more of that here in the final couple of weeks. Relievers, all of them, your main guys, your back-end guys, Colin Holderman, David Bednar, they're all going to be used that way, in part because they want to make sure that these guys develop that rhythm, but they also want to make sure that they see what some of their trial types can handle. If you're asking me who I'd pick, like just if it were up to me, it'd be Endy. And the reasons for that are that Endy has shown himself to be a capable catcher. He's shown enough in terms of his arm rehab, of course, coming back from the elbow surgery that cost him most of 2024. And more than anything, he can hit. This team has to hit. And this team can't be carrying these 130 catchers anymore, if they ever could afford to do that, and I'd argue that they couldn't. This lineup isn't going to be top-heavy in some sort of way where you would wish you could replicate those guys throughout, because it's not going to be great up there either. It won't counterbalance what's in the middle and what's at the bottom. Put bluntly, everybody's got to hit, and that includes the catcher, that includes the backup catcher. Whereas, where Henry is concerned, we're still talking about a 1-1. We're still talking about someone who really, really needs to find his best, most consistent self at the plate and also behind the plate. There's work to do on both fronts. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.